What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the confirmation that Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass, what this means for new releases, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and make sure the notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Cold War Year 2, Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and any other future Call of Duty as well. But before we continue, let's go ahead and take the sponsor of today's video. Now, tonight's video is sponsored by Cash 'Em All. Cash 'Em All is a mobile app that pays you for playing games, and you can then redeem your cash via PayPal or other various gift cards like Starbucks, Amazon, PlayStation, and even more. You can choose any kind of games you want to play. The more you play, the more you get. Now, some games have higher coin rewards than others, but after playing, you'll be able to go back and see how many coins you've collected. Once you have enough coins for a cash out, you can head over to the Payout tab, where you can go ahead and select your options and wait up to 4 to 8 hours for your reward. So if you're ready to become your own boss and get paid for playing games, then download Cash 'Em All, available in the Google Play Store, with a special link in this video's description or the pinned comment. And thank you to Cash 'Em All Play and Win for sponsoring tonight's video. Now back to the video. The head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, has confirmed that Microsoft intends to put Call of Duty on Game Pass, and reconfirms they will launch Call of Duty games on PlayStation the same day it launches on Xbox once the deal closes. Microsoft's president Brad Smith also said, and I quote, "We've said we are committed to making the same Call of Duty available on the same day on both Xbox and PlayStation. We want people to have more access to games, not less." So for those out there that were a bit skeptical on how the Microsoft acquisition would affect Call of Duty or would affect other Activision properties out there, this is some better clarity. And as of right now, it's still unclear when the acquisition is going to close. There were rumors that it was going to close as soon as the end of August, but I do think new investigations have opened up across the globe into the acquisition, which may have actually postponed the acquisition itself from closing. But I do expect the acquisition to fully close by the end of this year. The original rumor back when it was announced was that this acquisition wouldn't close until June 2023, which at the time we thought was going to be at least before the next Black Ops game from Treyarch, but we now know the next Black Ops game isn't until 2024 anyway, so the new Microsoft leadership should actually impact at least Treyarch's next Call of Duty, but it might even impact a little bit of the post-launch season for Modern Warfare 2 as well. Now here's the thing, right? If you think about it, it costs about $120 a year to have Xbox Game Pass, but that obviously provides you with a library of different games, and if Call of Duty gets added to Game Pass, that $120 will also give you access to all previous Call of Duties out there, and then moving forward, you will see the new Call of Duty added day one to Xbox Game Pass for whatever it is you're paying for the Game Pass. You might pay for just a month subscription, 3 months, or even a year. I mean, theoretically, what you could do is have an Xbox Game Pass subscription for like a month, or if you have a free trial, play the new Call of Duty as it comes out, and if you don't like it, you can just cancel your subscription. So that definitely is a healthy way to look at how to experience new Call of Duties in the future. But I think the reality here is this: they'll make the new Call of Duty available day one on Game Pass, while also being available simultaneously on PlayStation for the usual $70 price tag. So that'll be when you make a decision, right? If you're on PC, it'll be a no-brainer. You obviously get your Xbox Game Pass subscription. If you're on an Xbox console, same thing. But if you're on a PlayStation, you might end up reconsidering whether or not you want to upgrade to PC, so you're not paying that $70 upfront for the new COD, or considering picking up a Series X if PC is out of your budget. And I think the freedom of choice here is just huge. On PC, to be specific, you'll have so many choices of how you could play COD now. It looks like you'll be able to continue buying it on Battle.net and then Steam, and now an Xbox Game Pass subscription. So that's amazing. However, it's like I predicted before, Xbox is not going to just cut off PlayStation from Call of Duty access. What they're going to do is just make it to where you're more inclined to buy the new Call of Duty through Xbox Game Pass instead of just buying the physical copy or a digital copy through PlayStation for $70. Now, it's pretty ironic since I just moved to PC full-time a couple of months ago, which means whenever this change goes into effect, I'll definitely be playing Call of Duty through Xbox Game Pass. It'll be easier to go ahead and access older Call of Duty games as well that I just don't have purchased here on Steam or Battle.net, or CODs that I only had on console, and I don't have those consoles plugged in anymore. So this is going to be great, and for anybody out there on the Xbox ecosystem, I'm sure you're also pretty excited about this. But the news doesn't stop there. The UK government, in their lengthy document about the Microsoft acquisition of Activision, notes that Microsoft in the past said they'd keep games multi-platform, but then are locking upcoming Bethesda games to Xbox/PC only. So this raises the question, will Microsoft ever switch up on Call of Duty and say, you know what, we're actually just going to lock Call of Duty to just Xbox Game Pass, which will mean Xbox consoles and PC can still play, but absolutely not a PlayStation. Unless we, for whatever reason, saw Xbox Game Pass added to PlayStation one day, which would never happen, then that would be catastrophic for that player base. But it's like I've always mentioned on podcasts and other videos talking about this topic, Microsoft absolutely knows that PlayStation is the dominant platform for the Call of Duty player base. They also know that in terms of player numbers console-wise, PS4 and Xbox One also still dominate. So for Microsoft to want to cut off Sony in any way from Call of Duty would just be a middle finger to themselves financially, since either way Microsoft is going to make all the money that Call of Duty brings in since they'll own Activision. So there's no reason to really cut off PlayStation, but maybe, and just maybe here, this is a tinfoil hat theory, they start off with what they originally described, which is launching a new Call of Duty game day one on Game Pass alongside its normal PlayStation release, but then maybe a couple years down the line, after having really boosted Xbox Game Pass subscriptions, Xbox console sales, then they say, you know what, we've really kind of made a return on the investment a little bit, now let's cut off PlayStation since it won't really hurt us in the long run. A lot of people are playing Call of Duty now through Xbox Game Pass, so let's just go through it that way. Now, considering Call of Duty is one of the largest franchises to exist, I just don't see Microsoft placing a bet and cutting off PlayStation, even if financially it would kind of make sense for them. I just think in terms of the community response to that, it would be so catastrophic, so negative, might even hurt their stock to the point where it wouldn't really matter if, oh, business-wise they can support cutting off PlayStation, they'll still make some money. It would just really significantly hurt the Microsoft brand, the Call of Duty brand for the most part, in the long run. So I just don't see them ever doing that. I know there were theories months ago that what Microsoft would do is cut them off so that it would just drive Xbox Game Pass sales, console sales, but I think they can do that without cutting off PlayStation. They can still have everybody win in the end and still make sure that every player has access to the new Call of Duty. But I do believe the investigation from the UK government and even from other agencies out there, all of that is leading to a delay for this acquisition to close, and the way I see it is, so be it, right? Let all the investigations happen to really ensure that everything is in tip-top shape, nothing is corrupt, nothing seems a bit shady. I'm hoping that all these investigations go through very smoothly, no wrongdoing is found, and they just ensure the smoothest transition possible from leadership over at Activision to the heads of Xbox. But there's also some concern I've seen regarding dropping last-gen platforms, and I kind of touched on this briefly earlier. Microsoft and Activision both know that the dominant player base right now still for Call of Duty is PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So for them to cut off last gen would definitely hurt the COD player base, and that just would encourage people to either have to go find the PS5 for a crazy price or an Xbox Series X, which is easier to come across these days, or save up for a decent budget PC. And I think that shift will end up happening, maybe not with Black Ops 2024, but shortly after that. I mean, ideally, I would hope for that change to happen sooner than later to ensure that no future Call of Duty release is held back by last gen. Even if other development teams handle the last gen ports, you still have the developers keeping last gen in mind when working on new ideas, because they have to make sure that whatever they're working on can somehow also be developed for last gen hardware. But overall, I think once Microsoft takes charge, they'll be able to really guess when it's a good time to cut off last gen from the Call of Duty ecosystem. And I also want to remind you guys of a rumor concerning a PlayStation game launcher coming to PC. Now, when I brought that up in a video about a week ago, I did mention that this would be huge to really compete with Xbox Game Pass. The revamp that PS Plus got already kind of competes with Game Pass, not quite, but it's similar in a way. It's a 3-tier PS Plus model now that will give you access to a library of older games that is similar to what Microsoft is doing with Xbox Game Pass. So from what I was thinking is, if the Sony exclusivity deal goes on for, let's say, the next 2-3 CODs, and in order to play the beta early, you have to be on a PlayStation, I think that would be a bit of a workaround, right? If you have a PlayStation account and you also have a PC, then you could just log into your PlayStation account through that launcher on your nice build, and you can then play the PlayStation beta, but on PC, right? It would still count. That would be huge. But I also think in context of this video tonight, that would also be interesting if Sony will try their absolute hardest to really keep up with what Xbox is doing. Even though Microsoft will own Activision at the end of the day, I do think Sony will ensure that they try to compete with Microsoft to some extent, right? But last and definitely not least, I really can't believe this, but in the time period, as Charlie Intel said, that Vanguard launched, Warzone Pacific launched, COD released 5 post-launch seasons, Halo Infinite only had 2 seasons, with Halo's 3rd season coming in March 2023. A roadmap dropped late last night depicting what is in store for Halo, and a lot of hardcore fans are a bit upset about that. We have split-screen co-op getting canceled. We have Forge and co-op for campaign finally getting a release date of sorts, but if you look at content after that, not many multiplayer maps, only one gun. People are wondering just what in the actual hell happened to Halo, right? I'm just hoping that their development and focus isn't on infinite multiplayer, but on a BR at least, right? Because hopefully it's not something that we're not going to see for many, many years, but hopefully there's some explanation as to why they just lost track with Halo Infinite post-launch DLC. And I also mentioned this in regards to Vanguard. It was very clear that Vanguard wasn't doing well. Activision said, all right, pull the plug, drop the bare minimum for that game each season, and put all the focus towards post-launch updates in Warzone for Vanguard's life cycle. And that happened. But the thing is, right, Halo and Battlefield both had huge opportunities this past year to really go all out, to really take the quote-unquote COD throne for at least a year. And I think if anything, now would have been the only time to go that hard before COD 2.0, before Microsoft takes charge of Activision and brings COD to new heights, before Warzone 2 releases for that matter. But looking at the missed opportunities from both Halo and Battlefield, I guess it looks like COD is always going to be king at the end of the day, right? But I think at this point what needs to happen is Halo has to get bought out by some other company so that they could really go in a new direction with the series. Xbox got to buy out EA so that they could fix Battlefield. And I'm just kidding, of course. We don't want monopolies like that in the gaming industry. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the confirmation that Call of Duty is indeed coming to Xbox Game Pass? How are you feeling about how this might impact the future of COD altogether? And the other information we discussed. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.